Hi, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. I want to talk about say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't speak out of both sides of the mouth. Behavioral styles tell us about 18% of the population score high on a scale that favors assertiveness and dealing with things head on. These people who thrive on conflict will say what they think and don't care if they offend anyone at times and are bold in their approach. The remaining 82% of populations tend to shrink away from conflict, would prefer not to address things, or just tolerate someone who yells and curses at them all the time. Why it is hard for people to say what they mean and mean what they say sometimes. You probably have been told that lying is wrong, but then telling a white lie seems necessary in order to avoid hurting someone's feelings. You know you shouldn't talk about another person behind their back, but it's so much easier to seek input from someone else than it is to tell the person you have the conflict with and something is wrong. You want to confront someone but not be mean to them. But you know way too long to have the discussion and straw backs the camel's back, and you find yourself yelling and screaming and now look like the bad guy or even the bad girl. Many people never learn how to appropriately say what they mean and mean what they say. In school, if you dare to react negatively to a teacher who might be wrong and says to you, there are consequences for speaking out. Parents are often not good at communication process, so they may shade the truth, become overly bullying or overly passive, and neglect to model good communication in their behavior. Think about the bosses, co-workers, friends, teachers, and colleagues who may have had over the years who simply were not good at communication. You may have learned months or years later about something you did to offend them or something important they neglected to share. People are hurt when the truth comes out later. But why is telling the truth at the time such a hard thing to do, you might ask? Our culture values niceness over the truth in many cases. Political correctness. People who address issues or bring something up to someone that could be perceived as hurtful are looked upon as a problem. If you point out what someone else has done wrong instead of the person considering the feedback and having an objective conversation, the threat is that they will go off and tell someone else about what a mean person you are. When you grow up without a good role modeling, how can you learn to say what you mean and feel good about it while leaving the other person with the confidence and security in place? It takes practice and diligence, but the results are worth all the diligence and practice you have available to your arsenal. Consider these 7 steps of being more authentic communicator. When you want to deliver negative or non-positive feedback, consider your goal. What do you hope to accomplish in the outcome? Do you want a person to be more aware? Do you hope they will change their behavior? Are you trying to stop them from hurting themselves and others? Think about your own intentions first. Many times we just want the other person to know something. We don't have an expectation for what could happen once they know. If you have an outcome in mind, you can frame your comments differently. I'm hoping if I share some feedback, you might consider the way you're treating our daughter is one way. Ask permission and make sure it's the right time to offer feedback. Let the person know you'd like to share something, but make sure that they are open to hearing it. Sometimes people are weaker than other times. You don't know all of what's going on in their lives at the present time. Prepare them for the discussion. I would like to share some feedback. Is now a good time rather than another time for you? Be objective and stick to the facts on your approach. Try to refrain from using a broad brush. This is why parents are taught not to say bad boy or good boy. You don't want to open on a person's overall character. Instead, say that the outburst at the dinner table was upsetting. I think there was another way you could have handled it. Are you open to hearing my thoughts and suggestions about how to address this issue next time? Acknowledge your own thoughts and feelings. Is perfectly fine to have a reaction to share. Truthfully, I don't even know if you would have said what you have said was hurtful. It's just that the tone of the voice and the yelling was distressing to me. I have a hard time enjoying my meal when you are upset and angry. Many people don't even know how their behavior impacts someone else. Sometimes If we can point out why it bothers us, the person gets a chance to do it differently next time. Remember, you are not responsible for how another person reacts. If you have something to say about but you don't want to hurt that person else feelings, does that mean that the situation isn't any real, or I should say less real or legitimate? You always want to stop and consider your own motives, but you can't be responsible for what anyone else thinks and feels. Be responsible in your delivery, but not responsible for their reaction. Take the time to think about one person's viewpoint. Seek to understand with genuine interest. You can give feedback, but you also can try and see a person's perspective. I'm curious about why you seem so angry at the dinner table. I know your daughter wearing her earbuds while we eat is upsetting you, but is it something else maybe going on in your mind? You could ask this particular person that's so very angry. Sometimes inquiring and trying to draw someone out can be more beneficial than trying to teach them something. Do your best to remember that most people haven't learned well to open and honest in a non-hurtful, productive manner. It's not taught in schools. It's often learned at home. It's the role model around them. It's a fundamental skill that most people lack. Do your best to practice saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It's possible that others around you will follow suit if you lead by example. Say what you want, mean what you say, and say what you mean. Don't speak out of both sides of the mouth. If I did these shows to you and I told you I don't drink, I don't believe in drinking, but then you hear that I do drink, that is not saying what I mean and meaning what I say. That's saying what I want you to believe and doing something totally different. Let today be the first day of your new life. Start today by calling me at 844-405-HELP, and together you and I will help you say what you mean and mean what you say, and may God bless you.